What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. So in this one, we're going to be working on the methanol injection, which I had almost finished. I don't know why I didn't complete it. I guess I was just being like, I don't know, lazy. Also, I didn't really want to turn the car up and blow it up because I was like, oh, I'm in a in-between point in my life and I don't want to do that. But now I have a daily, so I got like something else to drive. And even if I blow this up, I still have the truck and the daily. So I've still got two vehicles, so I think I can blow this up. So I think we're gonna go full send now on this thing, like I mentioned. And I want to get this methanol injection system to work. If I have to buy boost juice for it, I will. I was planning to just run regular washer fluid out of my jug here. If this system turns out not to work, then I'll pipe in possibly a reservoir. I may do it in the engine bay. That'd be easier than running it all the way from the rear of the vehicle. Just put a reservoir over there. So we'll see. Maybe depending on if this will work or not, it's going to decide if I make my air box or not in here. So for now, let's just see if I can get the methanol injection working, because I do have the nozzle coming out of the bottom of this jug, and it's got a gravity feed basically all the way over to the pump, which is over there. So I don't know if it's going to make it to the pump. It would be ideal to have a reservoir higher up. Maybe somewhere over here would be nice too. I could put it over there. Whatever. I'd like to, somebody mentioned that they make manual racks for this, which would be kind of cool. If I could get rid of the power steering pump and this jug, I'd have so much room over here to put a reservoir for the boost juice. So that's option, B. I'd like to be able to run methanol to keep it safe. The only reason why I'm going to run methanol, guys, is because I don't have access to E85 where I live, unfortunately, which, everybody knows E85 is where it's at, but if I don't have it, I can use boost juice to make up for that octane rating that I'm lacking with pump gas. So that's the plan. So if you guys have been watching, you remember this thing here. This is the controller. This Snow Performance kit is really old. I bought it on the internet it was a used unit. So we'll see if it works. I don't remember what I spent, probably like 160 bucks, but it came with basically the pump, nozzle, this thing. It was attached to like a Corvette mass airflow, so obviously somebody's using this in a Corvette. It came with two different nozzles. I ended up just putting the bigger one on. Hopefully it's adequate size. So I just looked up the diagram. It looks like green is supposed to go to the motor and to the indicator LED. Red is power in, and black is ground. So I'll have to make a local ground. I think I already have the wire with a butt connector coming in for this guy to go to the power and the indicator, power and the pump and the indicator. And then I also have this guy here, which is the power coming in, so I may have to get that figured out. So one thing I've been meaning to fix is the horn. The horn chirp on the alarm hasn't worked in a while. It's because the ground side for the horn pulled out of the back of the butt connector that I had going on. So I'm going to try to do one better and solder it this time. So I got my ring terminal here. This goes underneath the horn, and I have it bolted to the body. And then I have the ground for my solenoid for the meth injection. I wanted to tie them in together like this, so if I had the horn chirp not working, then I had reason to suspect that the ground for the solenoid would not work as well. So then the meth wouldn't be spraying. So if I ever hit the horn and the horn doesn't work, I should suspect that the meth solenoid won't spray. And that way I'll hopefully not blow it up. I should be able to see that it's not spraying from the indicator, or the low washer fluid indicator should cue me in, but there's a bunch of checks so I know if the meth is spraying or not. That way hopefully I don't blow anything up because of not spraying meth. I'd like to blow it up because of power. I want to bend a rod. I don't want to melt a piston. You know what I mean? So I'm going to try to solder this together, and we'll see how it comes out. So I got it all soldered and heat shrinked. So like I said, we got a ground lead coming off. We got that's going to the negative on the alarm, on the horn rather, for the alarm, and this is going to the negative, or just to one side of the solenoid. Doesn't matter what side's positive, what side's negative on the solenoid. It's normally closed and the power opens it. So we got power coming this way from inside. This power wire here is coming from inside, and we got one going to the pump and one going to the solenoid to power up our solenoid. So the wiring's pretty simple on this meth injection kit. You got to power up the pump and the solenoid at the same time, so it'll open the valve so it can spray. Otherwise you're going to be sucking with vacuum, pulling all your stuff in there. any leak, juice that's sitting in the pipe. You don't want to use vacuum to suck that into your intake when you don't want it in there. So hopefully none of this leaks. I haven't yet sprayed it into the intake. I may take this line out here, I was thinking, just to see if it sprays. I may take this line out and we can put it in a bucket or something. I gotta try to, there we go. So yeah, I may run this into like a water bottle and we'll check and see if it sprays nicely. And I think that's gonna be the plan. Once we get it fired up, we'll see if we can put some boost to the sensor and make sure everything's gonna work. All right, so I've done quite a bit. I figured I'll take some time to talk to you guys about what I did with the methanol injection kit. So I pulled the line off like I think I showed, and I put it in this Dr. Pepper cup here. I'm not sponsored, but Dr. Pepper, I don't really drink soda, but I would if you were sponsoring. So anyway, I got this vacuum line here that goes to the back of the manifold. I took it off because I want to put it on the lowest setting and blow in it and see if I can get the pump to come on. So got my solenoid wired up. The horn chirps again, so that ground is good, and I know that's in the same ground as this solenoid. I think I soldered the connection, so should be even better. I'm more certain that if the horn doesn't chirp for the alarm, then the solenoid's not going to activate, which is a fail-safe. And then I got a fail-safe for the motor. If the motor's turning on or off, or at least if it's getting power, if the motor's not working, it's going to run lean. It is what it is. But can't prepare for everything. I'm trying. Do as much as I can here. So down in here, it's looking pretty good. In the past, this has been really disgusting down here. So let me get a little bit of light going on. But fuse box, I kind of have tucked up a little bit better. I zip tied it, hopefully out of the way. I got power wire here. Maybe everything's a little bit tight, but tried to zip tie some stuff, move the ECU up there. And this right here is the controller, which I wired in. So I'll show you guys how I got it set up. Basically, it's pretty simple. The green, it has the power coming out, and that is going to go to the pump and to the indicator LED, which I have set up over here. So one of these is the level sensor, which is a red one. So when the washer fluid level gets low, it'll throw on the light. And then the other side is the indicator for spraying, to know the meth is spraying. So I should be able to see when the meth is spraying. And then the red is power coming in. So what I did was I wired a relay in here. So if you look up a diagram of a relay, you have a power into the relay. So the main power comes in from this. Okay, so the power comes in from this pin right here, which is constant power, runs into here, which hits this fuse here, which is a 15 amp fuse that's wired in underneath the relay. So hopefully it doesn't pop, because I'll have a tough time getting that out of there. Looks like I can pop the cover off, and just like a regular old fuse holder here. So that's what I got in here, a 15 amp. So if this guy pops, then it will not be spraying. But I should see that there's no power to the pump, because the indicator won't come on. So if the indicator's not coming on, I know that this fuse could be blown or something is wrong with the feed side. So that's what that indicator is for. So with the relay, you have power coming into the relay, which is that guy. And then I also have power coming out of the relay, which is the yellow wire, which is right here. Yellow goes to the red, which is going to be power into the unit, which goes into this guy here. And then we have one more wire, the black wire, coming out of here, which is actually ground. So with the relay, you've got power, ground, and then switched power. So it would be easier if I was showing you a relay diagram, but you can always just look one up. You got 5 pins, usually you use 4 of them. You got power coming in, power coming out, switched power, and ground that you're going to use usually. So I ran the grounds together to this 10 millimeter over here I have with a cleaned off surface. Nice ground there. And then I had, like I said, the green is going out to the pump. That's from here. And the yellow is our power out going to him. And the white wire is our trigger wire, which I ran from, I actually had a trigger coming from the other side. You want key on power for the trigger. And I ran that over to here, and I ended up using the wire that goes to the radar detector. So hopefully that trigger, it's just a 2 amp fuse on that line there, is enough, because I piggybacked off of that. to get my trigger to run this, the relay, just to switch on the relay to switch on this. So hopefully it doesn't blow that 2 amp fuse doing this guy. If it is, I'll have to reroute it. But yeah, hopefully that all works, and I have yet to test it. So I'm going to turn everything down. I'll set it on, I don't know if you can see the settings here. Try to show you. So with the mode, I've got on the left side, there's math. So you can use a mass airflow, sensor voltage, or you could use boost, which I'm going to use boost. And I have the line piped in the back there. So then with this, I'll probably just go all the way down to 1. So if it sees 1 psi, it will trigger. And then I'll do full around 2. So I'll try to blow in it maybe and see if I can get 1 psi, or maybe use the compressed air and just give it a little blip and see if I can get the pump to trigger with the key on. So that's going to be my next step here to test this system and see if everything works. So hopefully it works. Alright guys, so it seems like it works. Pump's pretty loud so you can hear it, but I'm going to take this line and blow into it, and you'll be able to hear it and see it. That's so sick. Look how much fluid it flowed. That's a lot. I guess it works, guys, so I'm excited. So now I just gotta set it up. That's so sick. Nice. Alright. I'm stoked, guys. That's awesome. Alright, so I'm just gonna put this line on, hook this back up to the nozzle, and all that's left is to tune for it. And we're gonna squirt this straight up blue juice in there. Hopefully it's okay for all the seals and everything. I don't know how that's gonna be, but you know, if that's not right, then hopefully we're not spraying too much juice. We may have to dial the juice back a little bit, or only spray on the really high horsepower. Obviously we're not trying to flood the engine with water, but I don't think it'll be that bad. So yeah, it works. Awesome. Sweet. So I got the indicator. That's gonna come on too when you blow into it. So we'll test it out. Go for it. Hit it.
Ready?
Yeah, blow. Oh, the key's not on.
Oh.
Sorry. Sorry.
You're blowing the brains out here.
I know. Alright, take 2.
Ready?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Cranking.
Ready?
Nice.
Sick.
Works good.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Great.
So this is probably a lot of what you guys don't see, but the wire's cleaned up down there, make it a little bit nicer. You can still see a little bit of it, and the footwell sticks out, but it's not as bad as it was, and I don't feel as scared about people kicking stuff down there. So something we want to do for a long time is replace this steering wheel, because it is shot. I don't know if you can see here, the whole thing, somebody like, I don't even know how you do something like that. Let me know in the comments, does your steering wheel look like this? And if so, was it you? How do you do that? I guess you just like, I don't even know. It was like this when I got it, and it's pretty pitted and shot around the whole thing. It's kind of not, I'm used to it, I guess, but this side of the wheel is great. Like, he never held down here. So I like this area on this particular wheel. I like to hold this, but somebody at one point in this thing's life on the left side, brutal. Maybe it's sun damage. Maybe it's damage from the sun. I don't know, but this steering wheel has to go. And this button's worn off for the horn too. So we got to fix that. This one's not as bad. But overall, I have a wheel that's in a lot better shape. Still a little damage on the left horn button, but not nearly as bad. I don't have sandpaper fingers like this person did. They just sit here on this button or something. I don't know if they hit the horn a lot or what, but unfortunately I couldn't buy the bag pad from the local junkyard. They don't sell them. So we're going to have to reuse the bag pad, which I think is in okay shape. I'll try to clean it up a little bit, spice it up with some leather conditioner, and hopefully it matches. But this wheel's in a lot better shape than mine. I'm going to go around and try to clean it right now. I'm going to get a little bit of some kind of cleaner and just clean both of these stocks here. My left one, I think it doesn't cancel all the time. I don't know if there's something inherently wrong with it or not, but it doesn't cancel. Everything else works on it and it looks okay, but it doesn't cancel, and I think there's something wrong with the mechanism in here. I don't know if it's all the time or intermittent, I don't remember, but I know I want to change that while I'm in there and have the wheel off. And then on this side, these are all worn off on mine. So if you look right here, see how it's all just the window wiper thing is totally faded off and the intermittent thing is worn off. So I'm going to try to put this other one on. So I'm going to try to clean it without destroying it. I think I might have done that with Tough Stuff, trying to clean it, and I took all the finish off. So you got to be careful with what you use. I'm going to try to use something really mild on this just to clean it and not take any of the white lettering off, because that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid. At some point I'd like to fix all the other little things. I know I have a piece for this too somewhere, a new one of these, because this is kind of crack looking. I'd like to take the cluster out. So I think I'm going to pull the wheel apart, take the cluster out of this thing, you know, and just try to see what I can do. I have some white gauges I want to put in, so I'm just going to try to do some more stuff. All the miscellaneous parts that I have that I can use, I'll try to do that. I'm not going to go crazy taking the whole dash out or anything this winter, but just some little stuff. So I'm going to try to pull the wheel, show you guys how to do that, and mess around with my cluster too. Alright, I figured I'd start to review before I get in too deep. So I got everything apart. You know, minimal breakage. I did get a little beastly with this this guy here. He kind of pissed me off. I don't even have cruise on this thing anymore. I deleted it, so I'm almost thinking, I don't know if some options had a steering wheel that had no side buttons. I'd like to get that if I can, to clean up the look of the wheel. So if I can do that, I'm just going to lose this. Otherwise, I'll find another one. But I would definitely need like a different wheel backer. As you can see, the back of this wheel is set up for that cutout. So, I don't know. It may look funny. I may just put it back together with the switches. I don't know. It'd be cool to make the switch do something maybe, but I don't think I'll do that. Anyway, so that's just a 14 in the center. So to get the bag pad off, there's two of these guys. It's like a T30, or it is a T30. One side of mine was not a T30. It was totally annihilated, rounded in the center. And I don't know who did that, because I definitely didn't do that. I never tried to take this wheel off before, at least I don't think. So somebody rounded the crap out of that. So somebody tried to get this bag pad off before, which is kind of concerning. I wonder what they were doing, and if they rounded a T30, you know, they can't be very intelligent. What are they doing with the airbag system? So, a little weird, a little concerning. So I ended up using a hammer and a chisel to get that out. Hopefully I didn't do any damage to the column. I was beating the snot out of it. But anyway, got it out with a hammer and chisel. Got the bag pad off. So now, yeah, this is the new wheel. I'll put this on afterwards. But you just want to make sure that you undo your airbag connector, which is pretty easy. You actually just pull back on it. The bag pad's over here. But you just pull back on this locking, it's like a collar. And you can see this action here. And the connector pops right out of there. So that was nice. I was really confused by that. It took me a while to figure that out, but got it. So airbag's disconnected. And then all this will feed through that hole. And then you're left with this, which is your spring here. I'm blanking on the name. This is the spring that actually holds everything together. So when your coil spring for your airbag. So when you turn the wheel, this spring winds in one direction and winds in the other direction, but the wires make contact even though it's spinning. So that's anything that's got controls or anything like that on the steering wheel has to run through something like that, because it has to be able to rotate. So this is the SIR coil. That's what it's called. So the coil's inside of here. So what I did was I cleaned it off all the dust and I taped it in the top position. The wheel is straight right now. So when I pulled it off, the wheel was straight, and then I taped this to this, and now we can just kind of hang this down, and this thing's not going to rotate on us, because this were to rotate 180 degrees and we put it on the wrong way. When you go to spin the wheel, you can break the coil inside of here, and then you'll have no airbag, and the airbag light will be on. So that's no fun. So I did that first to make sure that we weren't going to mess that up. So now this guy can hang. So we're kind of getting down into the pieces here. I was messing with this a little bit. It's kind of cool. If you throw the turn signal on the left side, you'll see when you go like this little guy comes out here, and when you go back, it will cancel the signal. So that's kind of cool. When you throw it to this side, it'll cancel that one right there. So that's just how that works. It's all loose now because I loosened it. So I'm gonna start undoing the connections, and I'm gonna pull this section off too, and try to keep this centered. I know there's a spring under here somewhere too, so just got to be careful of not losing any of these pieces and remembering where everything goes. So that's the key here. So once I get this all apart, that'll be good. I can maybe throw the new knobs on and the new wheel, but I also might just take the cluster off while this is all apart. Seems like a good time. Oops. So yeah, I'm just gonna start ripping the rest of this stuff apart here, and I'll show you guys what I end up with. All right, so it's the following day, or a couple days later, and I got the battery back on charge because I left the door open for like a day or two, but it wasn't even that dead, so I'm happy. But yeah, anyway, those LEDs in the doors, they really do a good job. So I'll show you guys where I'm at now. So I got everything all apart here. I got all this stuff apart, clusters out. I got the whole dash bezel with all the AC controls are out. I swapped over my stocks here onto this guy. So this is just 3 Phillips screws through here. 1, 2 here, and then 3 somewhere in there. So 3 screws, take that off. And then I got everything hanging here. This is the clock spring. That's what it's called. I was watching a video, the clip. I was like, what the hell? You're so stupid. Clock spring. So got that here. Yeah, everything unplugs from the back. So I'll be honest, I thought there weren't going to be any screws, and I was like yanking on it, and I was like, oh, this is all broken. I think I broke this. So I pretty much broke the inner structure of the dash. Not a big deal. If I ever take the dash out of it, I'll just glue it or something, but I'm probably just going to leave it in pieces in there. Shock sensor's attached to it, so it's probably going to go off unnecessarily. So, oh well, it's kind of a little bit tragic. I kind of, you know, but I break stuff too. I'm kind of a beast, and I'm not used to taking apart old cars, 26 years old. I don't work on stuff this old, so when I pull on something, I expect it to unclip, and I didn't know there was a bunch of screws here. So basically, you got to pull out all these items here, like the cruise, pull this thing out, and there's a screw behind there. And over here, if you pull out the defrost, the rear window defroster right here, there's a screw behind there. So once you get those two, and then I think there's a couple holding the cluster, and once you get those two, everything should pop out. And this will be attached to the back, which mine was not. Mine was tucked down. This actually came off on here, and I haven't had the functionality of those controls. So while I already had the wheel off, I figured it's disabled for the winter. Let me go ahead and try to fix this cable here to fix the hot and cold. So now I can not have to go to the engine bay to make it hot or cold. So hopefully I can fix this. If not, I'll try to replace this cable while I'm here. It seems like the right thing to do. Especially since I broke everything taking it all apart. I don't want to take it apart again unless I have to pull the dash out of this thing, which I might do. Maybe not this winter, but at some point. So yeah, I would like to try to fix the HVAC control knob, and I have the cluster out, which I'll show you guys downstairs. And I realized I was talking about airbag stuff, and you know, this thing never does a bulb test for the airbag, which means either the bulb's out or the system's been tampered with or something. I don't know. I assume it doesn't have any airbag faults. I would hope it doesn't have any airbag faults, but the light doesn't bulb test. So I'm thinking about swapping that light with the one that works, and just like keying it up out here and seeing if I get a bulb test on the airbag. And then the bulb should stay on because I have the bag pad disconnected for the driver's airbag. That's how I knew there was definitely something wrong, because like it never bulb tested, but I figured whatever. So I keyed it up with the bag pad disconnected, and the SRS light wasn't on. I was like, oh, that's probably not good. So I'm gonna look into that, see why that light's not coming on, because I would like to have the airbags. That's why I'm keeping the stock wheel at this point. Otherwise, I would put an aftermarket wheel in it, because I like the way that they look. But if I have a problem with the airbags, maybe I will just put an aftermarket wheel, because that's the whole point. I'm trying to have an airbag. So I don't know, maybe it's not working, so maybe that side doesn't work either. No idea. So I'd like to try to fix that. So we're gonna take you down to the cluster. Alright guys, so here's the cluster. I kind of got a little carried away and ripped everything apart, just like with the interior. Sometimes I just, you know, I don't know, I don't show enough, but it is what it is. The next video is going to be about this cluster. So as you guys can probably tell, I've got these. They don't light up, but they are white, which is cool. So I'll be installing those. I found them at the junkyard. So I'm going to put those in. They're just like gauge covers that go over the old ones. So those should look pretty sweet. I'm also trying to fix some things with the cluster, disable that little brake lamp light that always comes on for me, and also fix the SRS light. So I'll show you guys how I do that in the next video. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and this next video is going to be pretty cool with all the electrical stuff that's to come. I enjoy this kind of work. So let's see what we can do with this, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. So peace.